Welcome back to AM Northwest. It is World Menopause Day, a time to celebrate that talking about the change is no longer taboo. Here to share what we can do to help our hormones and avoid piling on those pounds, we welcome back the author of The Menopause Myth, OBGYN Arianna Sholes-Douglas. Good morning, doctor. How you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for having me back. I'm great.
Okay, let's talk about it. What causes weight during menopause?
So the biggest issue is our estrogen levels are falling, and estrogen really is essential in our fat metabolism. So as our levels fall, we don't metabolize fat as well. And in addition to that, our metabolic needs go down. So we really need about 200 to 300 less calories as we age. And if you're eating the same amount and recognizing that you're not changing what you're doing in terms of activity, you're just automatically going to start gaining weight just by virtue of the fact of your calorie requirements going down.
Yeah, okay, I can relate to that. So the hormonal changes, that's how it affects. Are there other factors that contribute to the weight gain during menopause?
So there are several factors that are going to contribute. One is going to be just stress in general. As our cortisol levels go up, we tend to store that, and that makes our fat in particular go straight to our waist. So one of the complaints I get from patients all the time is, what's going on with my waistline? Why am I getting this belly fat?
Yeah.
And it has everything to do with cortisol levels and, again, the estrogen and how it's metabolizing the fat in that area.
What ways can menopausal and premenopausal women, how can they then control their weight?
So you have a few options. Obviously, you can eat a little bit less, but one of the complaints is that, well, I'm eating less, I'm working out more, I'm still at the same plateau. So understand as well that the gut microbiome changes. So you may need to make some changes in what you're eating. You may want to include probiotics. You want to increase your protein intake. You want to do weight-bearing exercises so that you can gain more muscle that will be helpful in you metabolizing that fat better. And you also want to make sure you're addressing areas such as, when I mentioned stress, sleep, for example, is very important.
Oh, sure. And then now, if weight isn't an issue, are there things that women can do to balance their hormones?
Well, I am a proponent of estrogen therapy for those that it makes sense for. It can be beneficial, especially if you're very symptomatic in perimenopause and menopause, symptomatic being hot flashes, night sweats, the irritability. Just having that conversation with your provider around the hormone journey, and if that is appropriate for you, that I would say is one of the best things that you can do.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of women, for example, feel like they need to do more things such as yoga or finding better ways to relax, because those stress levels that go up, also, again, that cortisol is going up. So we want to find ways to bring all of this back down.
Well, and I think too that there's some women who've experienced breast cancer, estrogen push breast cancer, that can't do that kind of therapy. So they have to think of other things. They have to work with their doctor to find other ways, right?
For sure. Estrogen obviously isn't going to be the best choice for everyone. I'm not saying that it's what you take to not gain weight,
right?
But it really is one of the more essential hormones that is declining during this period. It's going to change our lipids. So you also notice that cholesterol is going to change during that time. So just understanding that your body is going to be going through a lot of changes, and those changes are directly related to the estrogen levels that are falling. And you can take estrogen or not, but just being aware of how your body is changing, that is probably one of the biggest things, because sometimes we're just caught off guard with all of these changes and not understanding what's happening.
Right. How do we help family and friends understand what's going on with someone who's going through perimenopause or menopause?
Education, right? So you want to first and foremost be informed yourself. You can hopefully find a provider, understanding that there are some providers that aren't as up to date and up to speed with this information. So if you're getting pushback, then you want to perhaps go to a site called menopause.org. You can find a provider that is versed in the topic. But the best way you can help yourself is to educate yourself and then have those conversations with your family about those changes that you're feeling and what you're going through, so you all are on the same page and can and recognize what's going on.
Absolutely. We want to tell our viewers, too, to check out your book, The Menopause Myth. Dr. Sholes-Douglas, thank you so much. Great to talk with you again.
Yes, thank you again for having me. It's always great to talk about it.
You bet. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest, but first, let's check out the latest must-have gadget from Julie Ellie King.